I spoke to Al Jazeera about the impact of Brexit and the loss of freedom of movement on farming.
Well, we're just going from one crisis to the next, and we're just having no support from the government, who are not giving the people the truth about the fact that we need more immigration, not less.
Immigration is one of the major issues in the UK general election on Thursday, and both major parties say they want to bring the numbers down. But many industries say this is having an effect. Al Jazeera has been granted access to a berry farm in the Vale of Evesham, central England, and it's run by South Asian farmers who say they face severe labour shortages. Milena Veselinovic reports.
In the Garden of England, this berry farm stretches for miles across some of the most fertile land in the UK. Inside, the pace is quick and the fruit plentiful, but what it lacks is enough workers to pick the crop.
All my work I used to coming from Eastern Europe, and when you go back, British government didn't let them to come into the country, and we losing about £1.5 million.
The end of the freedom of movement with the EU isn't the only problem.
I can't pick it because I haven't got the staff, and that is what's happened in the last 3 years. So you've had Brexit, freedom of movement, you've had COVID, knock-on effect. Then we had obviously the Ukrainian war. We trained up staff, we lost that trained staff because of the war.
These issues working up a perfect storm of labour shortages that the National Farmers Union says caused production to be cut by a third in some businesses since 2020. And though the government introduced a 6-month seasonal workers visa, farmers here say it's not enough.
At the moment, for my industry, we've got 45,000 licenses, seasonal workers licenses that are coming in. Do we need that? Yes. Do we need double that? We 100% need that. We're growing more. We're getting better at growing. If we're getting better at growing, we need the manpower to help us grow.
But politicians, both in office and in opposition, have vowed to reduce immigration, not bring more people in.
The current Conservative government wanted to encourage farmers to gradually start replacing overseas workers with British ones, but that hasn't happened. And in reality, the majority of people who work in farms like this one come from abroad. Where are you from?
Philippines.
From India, Uzbekistan,
Bulgaria,
Macedonia.
They have tried to recruit locally here, but without much success.
Make sure they don't leave any fruit behind.
And their business model depends on trained staff coming back season after season.
It's a skilled job. It takes ages to learn it. It's very, very difficult. The crop here, they last 2 or 3 days. If you miss 2 days, the crop is gone. If you don't have the people, we are lost.
A steady supply of overseas workers may not be what the politicians say they want, but it is what farmers here say they need. Milena Veselinovic, Vale of Evesham, UK.
We can now speak to Liz Webster, who's the founder of Save British Farming, joining us from Cirencester in the UK. Liz Webster, thanks for your time with us on Al Jazeera. So what we've seen during this election campaign is that both major parties have made the issue of immigration really central to their campaigns, with both promising to cut migration levels. What effect will that have on the farming industry, in your opinion?
Well, we're just going from one crisis to the next, and we're just having no support from the government, who are not giving the people the truth about the fact that we need more immigration, not less. The working age population in Britain is shrinking, and it will continue to shrink. We've got more of a problem with immigration. That's young people leaving Britain to find work in other countries than actual immigration. The problem is our public services are crumbling, and people are blaming immigration for that. But that's also a double whammy, because our public services also need immigration, because those workers come in and help us run these public services, as well as farms, as well as hospitality, pubs and restaurants. So this crisis is crippling the country, and it's having a real impact on our food production and our food security. Put that together with trade barriers, thanks to Brexit, which are now there for imports as well as exports. We're really cooking up problems with food going forward.
So what sorts of challenges then are farmers facing in the UK practically? How is all of this that you outline having an impact?
Well, it's having a really detrimental impact on many, many farms who are giving up, selling up, particularly those that are, labour intensive, so dairy, horticulture, those kind of things, as well as we're dealing with very difficult weather with very wet times and then followed by drought, which is exactly what we've got now, plus a withdrawal of support, financial support from the government for food production. All of this is just a perfect storm, which is unsurvivable for many farms. And it means that we're falling to rely more on imports at the same time that we've got these really difficult trade barriers in situ, which are also, Brexit is also got rid of freedom of movement, which is in fact increasing immigration, but the wrong sort of immigration. So the whole thing is a mess, and it's very depressing that no party has had the courage to explain to the country what Britain needs to fix its problems.
Well, it's been 14 years of Conservative rule in the UK. What impact will a Labour government have, do you think, on this issue?
Well, all we've got at the moment is, blind hope, because the agricultural policy on the Labour manifesto is very, very thin. It's very vague. So we really don't know what we're walking into, apart from what we're preparing for is a lot of lobbying and a lot of campaigning to push the new government to help us. I do believe a Labour government won't want a food crisis. I think they're just trying to avoid dealing with the topic of Brexit while we go through this election, or at least that's what we hope. I hope that some realism comes to government. If it doesn't, they're going to be fighting fire after fire after fire, and that is not what any of us need, particularly when it impacts our food, which we all rely on to exist.
All right, Liz Webster, thank you so much for joining us from the UK on the News Hour.
Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and comment below. Let me know what you think.